Hi everyone, welcome to my Vuejs Amsterdam talk. Today I'm going to introduce you to a new way of creating Vue projects. First, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Haoqun Jiang, and I'm a member of both the Vue and Vite core team. As a full-time open source developer, my day job is to help Vue users connect the dots in the quickly evolving web tooling space. I help maintain and contribute to several open source projects related to Vue.js project creation and bundling. My GitHub username is SodaT, and my Twitter handle is Haoqun Jiang. In the new Vue.js documentation website, we recommend new users to start a Vue project with npm init Vue at latest. It is our latest generation of Vuejs scaffolding tools. If you have experience with Vue CLI, you might wonder, why does the default recommendation change? What benefits does it bring compared to previous versions of tools such as Vue CLI? Today, hopefully, my talk can answer that question for you. First of all, it is a brand new experience. It is easy to use because we assume that in most front-end developers' computer, there are already Node.js and npm installed. So with this new tool, you don't have to install any additional tools, just one single command and a project is ready to use. And it is fast, very fast. Let me show that with a demo. In a typical process of creating a new project, we just type npm init Vue at 3 in the command line. And if it's the first time you install, you run this command, npm will ask you to install the create Vue package, and let's answer yes to that. And in less than 1 minute, the create Vue package is installed and we're ready to go. In this demo, I'm gonna answer every question with the default answer. That is, the name is Vue Project, and we answer no to every prompt. And that's it. The project is created, and let's cd to that and run and install the dependencies, and then we're ready to go. Yes, in less than 20 seconds, we have the a project up and running. That's it. It's so fast because we made the create Vue, the underlying tool, very, very concise. Let's check that with the command npm info create Vue. As you can see here, there's no dependency of this package. And the package size itself is also very small. Let's run that with the npx download size create Vue. And we can see here that the create Vue package itself is only a little bit over 50 kilobytes. So with this, when you run the command npm init Vue, you actually, the npm CLI actually only sends 2 network requests, one to fetch the metadata of the package and one to download the package. The two combined are less than 100 kilobytes, and 100 kilobytes, that's smaller than today's typical average web pages. Nevertheless, the tool create Vue is battery included. Let's review the scaffolding process again to take a closer look at each of the prompts. This time we'll call the project Vuejs full-featured template. And you can see the command line first prompts for language features such as TypeScript and JSX, and then tools for developing single-page applications, that is Vue Router and the state management tool Pinia. And then we have we can configure testing tools such as Vite for headless unit testing and Cypress for real browser end-to-end testing. And then there's ESLint and Prettier. And yeah, it's now ready to use. And let's install the dependencies and lint the package with Prettier and ESLint. And that's it. The project is ready to go. This covers the most common features in you will need whether you are developing a single-page application or multi-page app, a website. One thing that's very important is that we make sure that every feature is opt-in. You don't need any of this to start a Vue project, but when you do need it, we make sure it's very easy to use. Now let's see the actual template in action. And here it is. Most noticeably, this project uses Vite. This is because Vite reduces complexity in front-end tooling. Now, you don't have to learn both the CLI tool and the underlying build tool to customize your configuration. And the Vite configuration itself is quite straightforward. With the define config helper, you can get type hints and explanations for each of the option fields, and Vite itself is framework agnostic, so we need to install, to import and initialize the Vue and the Vue.jsx plugin, and that's it. No additional configuration is required. Of course, as a convention, Vue projects often have the alias @ for the source folder. And here, because Vite config files are ES modules, so in case you are not familiar with the ES module limitations in Node.js, we set up an example to show you that how to use the import.meta.url to replace the old style dir name or file name in Node.js CommonJS modules. But that's not required. That's just a nice to have thing. A Vue project only needs the Vue plugin. Even the Vue.jsx plugin is opt-in. This template also includes every latest recommendation from the Vue.js team. For example, we recommend Pinia for state management. So here's an example of Pinia store. And for IDE and editor, we recommend you to use VS Code and Vola and the TypeScript plugin of Vola. So it's documented in the generated README and also in the VS Code extensions recommendations. Here are some other things that I think you might be interested in after creating the project. The first and most noticeable is the new default template, the new landing page. It supports dark mode and it is beautiful, responsive, and includes most of the links that you might need when developing a Vue.js project. It was designed and implemented by another Vue core team member, Fan An. The implementation uses the latest features in Vue 3.2. For example, the script setup syntax. With that, the components imported in the script setup block are automatically exposed to the template section, so that you just import the welcome component here, and you can just directly use it in the template section. No need to return a component field. Also, the script setup syntax allows you to define your exposed properties of a component view, a single file component with the define properties helper. And if you are using the TypeScript language, you can define the property interface with TypeScript interface. For example, here the message is we define the message with the TypeScript type string, and Vue automatically recognize that and convert it to a runtime string validation. The other noticeable improvement is the more accurate TS config. In a typical front-end project written in TypeScript, though all the source files are written in TS, they might run in different contexts. For example, the ones used under the source folder are expected to be bundled by Vite and run in the browser. So they might have some Vite-specific syntaxes and expected browser globals such as Windows self, etc. But here comes the subtlety. The Vite config file is also written in TS, but it is read by Vite and run by Node instead of running in a real browser. And if you choose Vitest for unit testing, Vitest is actually runs in Node, and the DOM environment is provided by JS DOM, not a real browser. And making things more complex is the Cypress configuration. Cypress plugins are Node modules. On the other hand, the spec files of Cypress runs in a browser environment controlled by Cypress. So these are all different contexts. They expect different kind of type hints and type checking. So we make use of the TypeScript feature called solution style TS config, which includes references to sub-project configurations from the root TS config, so that all these modules can get their correct context respectively. For example, we have add Node and Vitest tabs to the Vite config, and Node and JS DOM tab to the Vitest unit testing spec files. And here are the Cypress E2E spec configurations and the Cypress plugins config. Let me show you the differences in action. For example, in vite.config.js, because it runs in Node.js environment, it can't access browser globals such as window. If you type window here, it will TS will prompt that it cannot find the name window. But you can do that in source main.ts. And because it runs in Node, so it accesses environment variables in the Node.js way, that is process.env. On the other hand, in Vite, we recommend users to use environmental variables, access environmental variables with import.meta.env.baseURL. These are different syntaxes in different contexts. And that's for the more accurate TS config. Finally, there's the question that how do you update the templates after project creation? Previously in Vue CLI, the project update process is controlled by the command Vue upgrade. It upgrades the project dependencies and the project code for you. But that turns out not maintainable to us because users may have modified the project in their own way, and the CLI migrator cannot cover every edge case. So the migrator eventually fails to match the user needs and becomes useless in many cases. So now in Create Vue, we don't try to control the whole process for you. We now have a snapshot for each snapshot repository that stores all the possible generated templates for each version of the tool. You can view on GitHub for your choices of the features. For example, if you choose JSX and Pinia, here's the JSX Pinia template for you. And it preserves the history of each version of the Create Vue package. And you can see the different diffs on GitHub and update your projects respectively, accordingly. And actually, it is okay to not follow the updates on the snapshots very closely, because the scaffolding tool, Create Vue, and the build tool, Vite, are separate projects. The build tool, Vite, it is a mature project with that follows semantic versioning. So as long as there are no major version bumps, your project can continue to work. The Create Vue project, on the other hand, updates whenever we think there's a new best practice for Vue projects and want to introduce that to all our users. So it's more like the recommendations instead of a mandatory guide. So if you are interested in best practices in Vue.js tooling, welcome to watch the updates or join the discussions in the repo. But if you are not, it's okay to only open the project occasionally to see if there's anything changed. And that's it for my talk. Hope you enjoy coding with Vue. Thanks.